So, Heart of Darkness, best known as the story of Marlowe's journey to Africa, as we have learned, and which in part it is. However, the novel is also the story of a man on board a London ship who listens to Marlowe's story as well. And this is a story within a story that can be called a frame story. And it's a story that is exploring man's inhumanity towards other man, and raising some troubling questions about the impulse towards imperialism. That means Heart of Darkness explores the inhumanity of a man towards other man. That means the European man shows inhumanity and cruelty to the Congo's people. So this Heart of Darkness explored human beings' inhumanity towards other human beings. So Heart of Darkness is also an adventure story where the young hero embarks on a journey and in the process learns about himself. Marlowe begins his narrative as a rough and ready young man searching for adventure. We have seen at the very beginning of the novella that Marlowe, a young man, and that man was very much fascinated about sea journey and adventure. And one day he noticed a notice on a window of a shop. আমরা যেমন বিভিন্ন জায়গায় দেখি না যে টু লেট বা এরকম, Marlowe observed a notice on a notice board, and for the adventure in Congo he got the map, and the map offered there that there is a river through Africa, especially the Congo, and the river is like a snake. What does the snake means? The map of Africa still contained the blank spaces, and Marlowe yearned to explore. Actually, his liking to Congo River to a snake suggests the mesmeric powers of Africa. So Marlowe observed that this African continent is blank, still out of map, and also that blank space attracted Marlowe's attraction for what Marlowe want to explore that blank space. এই যে জায়গায় কেউ যায় নাই সেখানে উনি যেতে চান. However, the serpent, why the river is like a serpent? Serpent is also a well-known symbol of evil and temptation. Okay, so the snake-like shape of the river explores evil and temptation of human being. এত জায়গা থেকে মার্লোর সেখানে আগ্রহ জন্মিল কেন? That can critically explain that the snake is a symbol of evil, desire and temptation. And hearkening back to the book of Genesis in the Old Testament, and where we have got this? In the book of Old Testament we have got that snake is a symbol of evil, desire and temptation. Conrad's comparing the river to a snake also suggests the danger Marlowe will find in Africa, and the temptations to which Kurds succumb when he sets himself up as a god to the natives. Again, this can also suggest that Marlowe will find danger. Snake suggests the evil, desire and temptation in one hand, and another hand is that Marlowe may fall in danger if he visits this snake-like river in Africa and Congo. So this is the symbol. Despite the uncertainty of what lay there, Marlowe had to go because Marlowe had the desire to have an adventure. However, before Marlowe even sets foot on the African shore, Conrad begins to alert the reader to the terrible power of the African jungle. Marlowe learns that a piloting position has become open because the chief's son has killed one of the company's pilot over the two black hens. Up position split. পাইলটের পজিশন একটা ফাঁকা আছে, এই পাইলটটা মারা গিয়েছে। কি জন্য? একটা সামান্য ঘটনা নিয়ে তাদের মধ্যে দ্বন্দ্ব হয়েছিল। সেটা কি? এই হেন মানে কি? মুরগি। কিন্তু আমাদের কনসার্ন ওটা না, এটার কালারটা কি? ব্ল্যাক। সো ব্ল্যাক color is a ominous sign. That means for the quarrel for a black hen, two black hens, a captain was killed by a native. Okay, so how a person can be killed for the silly matter? Okay, Fritz Levin, the dead pilot, was thought by all to be the kindliest, gentlest creature that ever walked on two legs. যে পাইলটটাকে কিল করা হয়েছিল তার নাম ছিল হচ্ছে ফ্রেশ লেভেন। Before going to Africa, that Fritz Levin was a kind man, was a gentleman. But that gentleman, that pilot, he started quarreling with a native for the cause of two black hens. এই ভালো মানুষটা আফ্রিকাতে গিয়ে ঝগড়া শুরু করলো নেটিভের সাথে কার জন্য? দুটো কালো হাঁসের জন্য, মুরগির জন্য। এবং সে কারণে কি হলো? যে মানুষের দ্য গুড ইনস্টিংক্ট অফ হিউম্যান বিং ক্যান বি করাপ্টেড ফর। অনেক সময় গন্ডগোল শুরু হয়, দেখা যায় যে কি নিয়ে গন্ডগোল শুরু হয়েছে? উইথ 1 টাকা। কেউ 1 টাকা বেশি ভাড়া দিবে না, আর কেউ 1 টাকাটা নিবেই। ওকে, সো whenever a human mind will get into achieving power, then the silly matter can cause death. That is the examples over here. That is Fresh Levin was a good man going to Africa. He lost his good heart and he started quarreling with the natives for the cause of two black hens, and he was killed by the native. But Conrad hints that something caused him to shed his self-control and attack the chief of a village. What is that something? Something being the effect of the jungle or uninitiated Europeans becomes more and more pronounced to Marlowe and reader as the novel progresses. Marlowe eventually sees Fresh Levin remains on the ground with grass growing up through the bones. And next time Marlowe observed that the Fresh Levin's body was buried in the jungle and grass grew through the body of Fresh Levin. That means even nature couldn't support cruelty. জঙ্গল এবং নেচারেরও যে একটা শক্তি আছে, যে ইউরোপিয়ানরা সেখানে যে যাক, ইউরোপিয়ান উইল গো ওভার দেয়ার ইন কঙ্গো অ্যান্ড দে উইল বি রুলিং কঙ্গো, ইট ওয়াজ নট লাইকড বাই দ্য নেচার ইটসেলফ। অ্যান্ড ফর দিস রিজন নেচার তার শক্তি দেখিয়েছে। এই ফ্রেশ লেভেনের ডেড বডি থেকে কি গ্রাস বের হয়ে গিয়েছে। দ্যাট ইজ অলসো দ্য সিম্বল of the power of African jungle. The image suggests that Africa itself has won a battle against Fresh Levin and all he represents. So Fresh Levin, a white man, and he became the representative of European power, and the grass represented that. That is a symbol that the African people fought against the European power and they won the battle. Critically. So earth reclaimed him as its own, and nature has triumphed over civilization. And this is the first lesson Marlowe learned about the futility of the company's agent. Futility of the company's agent. Attempts to remain civilized in the jungle, which releases instinctual and the primitive drives within them, and they didn't even think they possess. Okay, actually as I have said earlier, that every human being will have some instinctive primitive desire to be corrupted. Okay, and for this reason, while staying in London, they were not doing that, but whenever they went to Fresh Levin went to Africa, he got chance to exercise his power, he did that, and he became cruel. So the natural instinctive primitive quality arose in Fresh Levin, and that also happened to other European characters ruling in Congo. Okay. So when Marlowe visits Brussels to get his appointment, he describes the city as the whited sepulchre, whited sepulchre, shada samadhi. What does it mean? It has a symbolic meaning, a biblical phrase referring to a Hippocratic or a person. So, white sepulchre মানে সাদা সমাধি, এটার একটা রিলিজিয়াস ব্যাখ্যা আছে। এই ব্যাখ্যাটা হলো হোয়াইট সেপালচার দিয়ে আসলে একজন মানুষের চরিত্র বোঝানো হয় যারা হলো হিপোক্রেটিক অর আ পারসন হু এমপ্লয় আ ফ্যাসেট, একটা মুখভাগ, অ্যান্ড দ্য ফ্যাসেট অফ গুডনেস টু মার্ক হিজ অর হার ট্রু malignancy. So a person's true malignancy or the Hippocratic things can be covered by some mask, and that symbolically represented the whited sepulchre. যেখানে ব্রাসেলে যে সাইন করতে গিয়েছিল সেই বিল্ডিংটার কালার কি ছিল? হোয়াইট sepulchre. What does it mean? It means that in this white building they propagated that they are doing some good things in Congo, but under the shadow of the good deeds they are doing cruelty, they are inhuman towards the Congolese people. Okay, so it has a symbolic value. The company, like its headquarters, is a similar whited sepulchre, proclaiming its duty to bring civilization and light to Africa. Civilization and light to Africa. In the name of Christian charity. Actually, in every religion, charity will be there. That means we have to help the poor, we have to help the uncivilized person, we have to help the uneducated person to get them educated. অশিক্ষিত মানুষ বা অন্যদেরকে সভ্যতার আলো দেওয়া, এটা হলো মানুষের প্রত্যেক ধর্মে এবং প্রত্যেক সমাজে এটা হলো একটা দায়িত্ব। So that had been the desire of the European imperial power. They wanted to do, but Joseph Conrad, observing the color of the building at Brussels, they say that is their Hippocratic desire. That means they are not doing the positive things. They are not bringing lives to the Congo. Rather, they are bringing cruelty and inhumanity towards the Congolese people or Congolese people. Okay, so that is another symbol. Marlowe's aunts, who talked to him about winning those ignorant millions from their horrid ways, serve as an example of how deeply the company's propaganda has been ingrained into the minds of Europeans. Okay, so we see that the distance between Congo and Belgium's Brussels is 6,282 kilometers. So the Brussels European company, they said that we are doing good things, and the European people believe that. ইউরোপে যারা বাস করতো তারা সবাই কি করছে এটা বিশ্বাস করেছিল, yes, they are doing good things to Congo, and they were successful in their propaganda. Okay, so that is the mask. Uncomfortable with his aunt's ideas, তার আন্ট এটা আগেই মার্লোকে বলেছিল যে অ্যাকচুয়ালি দে আর ডুইং সামথিং নেগেটিভ টুয়ার্ডস দ্য কঙ্গোলিস পিপল। ওকে, অ্যান্ড দ্যাট ওয়াজ প্রেজেন্টেড বাই জোসেফ কনরাড উইথ দ্য হোয়াইটেড সেপালচার। Marlowe suggests that the company is simply run for profit. Marlowe said that, yeah, actually they are doing profit, they are doing business about there, and that is the initial motive of the all European colonial power. প্রত্যেক ফ্রান্স, ডাচ, পর্তুগিজ, যারা ইউকে, যারাই সারা বিশ্বে কলোনি স্থাপন করেছিল, তাদের ডিজিয়ার প্রথমেই ছিল কি, তারা ব্যবসা করা। এবং মার্লো এটাই চিন্তা করেছিল, দ্যাট মিনস দে আর ডুইং সামথিং, দে আর ডুইং বিজনেস, সো দে আর ডুইং অ্যাক্টিভিটিস ফর দেয়ার প্রফিট। দ্যাটস ভেরি ন্যাচারাল। Okay, in case of business they will be doing profit, so that is their desire. Okay, and Marlowe dwells in the realm of wishful thinking, wanting to believe that the company has no imperialistic impulses. Marlowe, before going to Congo, he didn't believe that actually যে কঙ্গোতে তারা যে ইম্পেরিয়ালিস্টিক যে রাজত্ব কায়েম করার যে চিন্তা, এটা মার্লো আগে বিশ্বাস করেন। He thought that they are doing business over there, they are doing these activities for the purpose of their profit. That is was his. It's simply an economic enterprise, economic enterprise, or you can say a business enterprise. এটা ব্যবসার ক্ষেত্রে সেখানে তারা আছে এবং সেখানে কাজ করছে, এবং মার্লো তারপরেও সেখানে গিয়েছিল। ওকে, and the first glimpse Marlowe and the reader have of the company's headquarters hints at the organization's sinister, evil and conspiratorial atmosphere. First, Marlowe slipped through one of the cracks to enter the building, and implying that the company is figuratively closed in terms of what it allows the public to learn about its operation. Actually, Marlowe entered to the Brussels office. ব্রাসেলের যে বিল্ডিংটা সে ঢুকেছিল, মনে হচ্ছিল যে ফ্রন্ট গেট দিয়ে সে ঢুকে নাই, একটু অন্য দিক দিয়ে ঢুকেছিল। ইট মিনস দ্যাট অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইট মাইট বি ক্লোজড। তারা হয়তো চিন্তা করেছিল যে এটা হয়তো বন্ধ, এটা তারা বোঝাতে চাচ্ছিল। And the fugitive terms. And second, the two women knitting black wool. Again black. Yes. একটা ছিল হোয়াইট সেপালসার, ওকে, তারপরে আমরা আবার সেই ম্যাপটাও কিন্তু ছিল হোয়াইট প্যাচ যে ম্যাপের জায়গা। আবার এখানে আমরা পেলাম ব্ল্যাক হ্যান্ডস, এবার এখানে পেলাম they are knitting with black wool, suggests the fate of the Greek mythology. Like the goddess, the company is knitting the destiny of the African, represented by the black wool. Okay. In case of Greek mythology, fate cannot be erased, fate cannot be avoided. Fate is indomitable, and fate will come to everybody. So European started knitting the fate of African, and কিভাবে? আচ্ছা, তাদের ভাগ্য বুনতেছে কে? কঙ্গোতে পিপলদের ভাগ্য বুনতেছে কে? ইউরোপিয়ানরা। যদি বুনবাই তাহলে সাদা উল দেব না। Joseph Conrad said that the color of the wool is black. It means that actually what they are doing, they are not knitting their fate, they are knitting their inhumanity. Okay, so that is also the symbolic presentation. The company therefore plays God to the lives of the African, deciding who is the Congo in the Congo will live or die. Third, Marlowe is led into a dimly light office. When Marlowe entered into the light, that is the dim. Okay, what is the difference between dimly light? In dim light you can't see anything clearly. Okay, if anybody desires to hide something, that the atmosphere of the room will be dimmed. Okay. So actually that dim is very close to the black. It also indicates the evil desire of the European power. And a shady atmosphere of the room, that is ambiguous morals of the company. Ambiguous, you know, অস্পষ্ট কি? Or does it mean? It means that তারা করতে চাচ্ছে একটা, কিন্তু তারা yes. And he only speaks with the company's president for 45 seconds. Okay. If you talk to some person, okay, বিভিন্ন বিষয় নিয়ে কথা বললে অনেক কিছু জানা যায়, কিন্তু সেই কোম্পানির যে প্রেসিডেন্টের সাথে কথা বললেন কত সেকেন্ড? 45 seconds, and suggesting that company views Marlowe, the people like him, as expendable. শুধুমাত্র একটা কথা বলেছিল, yes, the president said that I want to see you as like the person who are working over there. Okay. So Marlowe can be contrary to the European people's desire working in Congo. কঙ্গোতে যারা কাজ করছে তাদের মতোই তাকে কি করতে হবে? কাজ করতে হবে। Okay, and fourth, Marlowe is asked to sign some documents, and that ostensibly contracts him to not to reveal any trade secret. Okay. Just like before the operation theater, everybody signed the bond. What is the bond? That means if the patient dies, authority will not take the responsibility. Just like that, he put signature over there on some documents, and over the documents he will not convey the business secret. A business secret কঙ্গোতে যেটা হচ্ছে এটা কাউকেই বলা যাবে না। But figuratively suggests that the selling of the soul to the devil, yes.
কঙ্গোতে যাওয়ার আগে জানতে পারছিলেন যে ওখানে আসলে কি চলতেছে?
না, এখনো তো জানতে পারে নাই।
যে উনি এই যে বলো না সিক্রেট ট্রেড সিক্রেটস গুলো উনি কভার করবেন, তো তার মানে সিক্রেটস গুলো উনি আগে থেকে মানে সাইন করার সময় থেকে জানতো।
ওকে, উনি তো জান নাই, মারলো তো জান নাই, এবং মারলো চিন্তা করেছিল যে সেখানে তারা কি করছে, বিজনেস করতেছে। সো ধরেই নিয়েছে যে বিজনেস সিক্রেট কাউকে বলবো না। হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু ওখানে যাওয়ার আগে বিজনেসের নামে যে কি ছিল এটা উনি জানতে পারেন নাই। সো দ্যাট signing of the bond also figuratively suggests that selling his soul to the devil. Okay, and as the devil seeks human soul to overthrow God in heaven, eventually the company is metaphorically seeking to acquire the souls of the many Europeans as possible to make greater profits. Just like Dr. Faustus. Dr. Faustus signed the bond. Okay, that means I will be enjoying, and finally he. And that was the perspective, that is the Renaissance perspectives, and that Renaissance perspectives everybody wanted to accumulate knowledge, power and everything. And for this reason he thought that yes, I might be more powerful, I might be enjoying the all enjoyable aspects of the life, so he signed. And next time he apprehended. Okay, Dr. Faustus apprehended. But here he signed the documents, that means he will not convey the secret, business secret to others. So Joseph Conrad wanted to convey this document signing as the way that they signed to sell their soul to the evil desire of the European power. And in such a way, signing the bond, the company, that is the Belgian company, got many Europeans to work over there for their imperialistic desire and for their greater profit. Marlowe is examined by the company's doctor, and he learns that many Europeans who venture to Africa become mad. সেখানে যাওয়ার জন্য চাকরিতে যোগদান করার পরে করা হয়, একটা পরীক্ষা করা হয়। সেখানে ডাক্তার পরীক্ষা করছিল। ডাক্তার পরীক্ষা করে কিভাবে, যে আইসাইট দেখে বা এরকম কিছু জিনিস দেখে, কিন্তু ওখানে ডাক্তার তার পরীক্ষা করছিল। প্রথম কথা হলো যে আপনার পরিবারে কেউ কি মানে ম্যাড বা এরকম হয়েছিলেন কিনা, এরকম কোনো সিম্পটম আছে কিনা। That means the doctor would know that the people would go to Europeans, they become mad over there. Actually there is a dichotomy of the fighting between good and bad, between bad and good. In every human being there will be the dichotomy of the two instincts, goodness and badness. Okay, so that goodness and badness will be working in every human being. When the doctor begins measuring Marlowe's skull, প্রথমত বললো যে আপনি কোনো পারিবারিক হিস্ট্রি আছে কিনা ম্যাড, এরপরে উনি মাথার খুলি পরীক্ষা করছেন। What is the condition over there? That is the European science suggests that technology, that is even with the science of ludicrous as phrenology are no match of the power of the jungle. What is the science? That the civilized European to go to Africa, their distinct placed upon them by the European society began to vanish, resulting in the kind of behavior previously seen in Fresleben. Later in the novel, when his anger begins to grow after finding all of his great gear damaged by the potters, Marlowe ironically remarks, "I felt I was becoming scientifically interesting." Actually, in the European science say that actually observing the front part of human skull, the shape of human skull can convey how much confident you are. এই খুলির সামনের অংশ দেখে বোঝা যায় সেই সময় ইউরোপিয়ান সায়েন্স যে সে কতটা কনফিডেন্ট, এবং যদি সে কনফিডেন্ট হয় তাহলেই ইউরোপে গিয়ে সে সার্ভাইভ করতে পারবে। এজন্যই ডাক্তার তার হচ্ছে স্কালটাও কি করেছিল, পরীক্ষা করেছিল। ওকে, also worth noting in the abundance of white and dark white and dark images in these opening pages of Marlowe's narrative. The Congo is described as a white patch on the map. Freshleben was killed in a shuffle over two black hens. Brussels is whited sepulchre. The two women knit black wool, and the old one wears a starched white affair. And the president's secretary has white hair. The doctor has black ink stain on his lips. কলম রাখার জন্য একটা ইয়ে ছিল, সেটাও হলো black. So many critics have commented that something inclusively on Conrad's use of white and black imagery. Generally, one should note how the combination of white and black imagery suggests several of the novel's ideas. Okay, so black and white something positive and black something negative. Very meticulously Joseph Conrad presented the white and black imagery in this novella, Heart of Darkness. So the company claims to be means by which Marlowe called them emissaries of light, can bring civilization to the darkness of Africa, which is done denoting Brussels at white and the Congo is as white. The white men in the novel, particularly Marlowe and Kurtz, will be greatly influenced by the experience with the Africans. Although the company professes to be a force of white moral righteousness, it is actually spotted with black. Okay, that means it's black spots of sin, humanity, and the corpse of the black natives that are found throughout the Congo. So the black sign imagery, black imagery indicates the Europeans' inhumanity towards the Congolese. In short, the company may appear to be white. White is a symbol of good and pure, but it is actually quite the opposite, just like the black. Sometimes critics have claimed that Conrad's use of darkness is present evil suggest the racist assumption of the novel, and others argue the white characters in the book are actually more black. So we see the white characters, their intention was white. European are white in color and their intention was white and pure, but actually they are not white, and it can be claimed that the white European people can be called more black or yes. Okay, so regardless of the critical dispute, a reader should note that Conrad toys with the white and black imagery throughout the course of the novel, and of course in its very title. So Marlowe feels like an imposter when he leaves the company's headquarters, and because he has joined the rank of an outfit where assumption about African European activity more sharply contrast to him. Okay, so Marlowe has no imperialistic impulses. So Marlowe visited there, but he had no desire to be the imperial leader or the colonial leader over there. Only seeks adventure, but he is beginning to see the company for what it truly is. Marlowe's growing perception of the moral decay around him becomes one of the major issues of the novel. So moral decay, that means the European people went over there with a good morality, but next time their morality decayed, observing the power and wealth in Congo. সেখানে পাওয়ার এবং সম্পদ এই দুটো দেখে তাদের যে মোরালিটি, তাদের সাথে তারা যেটা ইউরোপিয়ানরা নিয়ে এসেছিল সেখানে সেটা কি হয়েছে, দ্যাট ওয়াজ ডিকেড ইন, অ্যান্ড দ্যাট moral decadence was presented by Joseph Conrad in his novella Heart of Darkness. And Africa itself initially portrayed as an enchanting and intriguing place. The continent is described as unfinished and still the making, and processing an year that beguiles European to come and find out if they can survive there. Okay? So that is the portrayal of Africa. He notices the other things in this story, and Marlowe notices a boiler lying in the grass, an unused railway car resembling the carcass of some animal. Marlowe সেখানে গিয়ে যখন ভ্রমণ করছিল সেখানে গিয়ে সে কি দেখেছে, the boiler, unused boiler unused railway equipments, and the carcass of some animals, and the series of explosion. Why? They do nothing to change the rock. Okay, explosion কেন ঘটানো হচ্ছে? সেখানে বড় বড় পাথরগুলো ভাঙার জন্য, কিন্তু সেখানে কোনো পাথর ভাঙানো হচ্ছে না, শুধুমাত্র এক্সপ্লোশন হয়ে যাচ্ছে. So the explosion, the railway track, they were unused, and the dead bodies of the animals, and change the rocks, and they're attempting to remove that artificial hole in the purpose of which he cannot discern, and ravine filled with the broken drainage pipes. Stunned by these images of chaos, Marlowe remarks, the work was going on. Marlowe মজা করে বলেছে, চারিদিকে দেখতেছে যে রেল লাইনের কাজ হচ্ছে কিন্তু কিছুই হচ্ছে না, এক্সপ্লোশন হচ্ছে কিন্তু কোনো রক ভাঙা হচ্ছে না, ওকে, যে পাইপ ব্যবহৃত হচ্ছে সেগুলো আনইউজড. সব কিছু দেখে মজা করে মারলো, বললো যে ও, দ্য ওয়ার্ক ইজ গোয়িং অন, দ্য ওয়ার্ক ইজ গোয়িং অন. ওকে, দ্যাট মিনস দ্য ওয়ার্ক ক্লিয়ারলি দিস সায়েন্স অফ দ্য ওয়াস্ট and inaptitude are not what Marlowe expected to see upon his arrival. So Marlowe had a desire that he will be observing lots of improvement in Congo, but going over there he observed that the worst and inaptitude activities, অনুপযুক্ত এবং কাজের অনুপযুক্ততা. Okay, so that was Marlowe observed, and he was shocked, and company was progress. So even observing this, Marlowe, even more disturbing to Marlowe is the grove of death that I have said, a shady spot where some of the natives, like the machinery mentioned previously, are dying without anyone seeming to notice or care. না, কারণ নেটিভরা তো ওইদিকে আসতেই পারবে না, হেডকোয়ার্টারের আশেপাশে তো আসতে পারবে না, গ্রামের পর গ্রাম ফাঁকা. and it was observed that at the time of Leopold II 10 million people were killed. 1 কোটি জনসংখ্যা কমে গিয়েছিল এই কঙ্গোতে তারা যখন এখানে শাসন করেছে. Okay, so that is the thing. I have put red marks on it. That is the disturbing things, the grove of death, the shady spot where some of the natives, like machinery mentioned previously, are dying without anyone seeming to notice and care. এই যে মানুষগুলো, অনেকগুলো মানুষ পড়ে আছে, এনি টাইম they may die. তাদের দেখার কেউ নেই, তাদের খাওয়ানোর কেউ নেই, তাদের কেয়ার করার কেউ নেই. Calling them nothing but black shadows of disease and starvation. Okay, Marlowe called them black shadows of weakness and disease and starvation. এই মানুষগুলো কেন মুমূর্ষু হয়ে গিয়েছে? দিনের পর দিন তারা না খেয়ে থেকেছে, ওকে, এবং তারা অনেক অসুখে ভুগেছে. এই জন্য they have been suffering from several disease and they are starving for days. Bundles of acute angles. Marlowe attempt to show some charity by offering one of them a biscuit, and the dying native, however, can only grasp it in his hand, and too weak to even bring it to his mouth. That is the pitiable scenery he observed over there. Sorry? মার্লোকে বলা হয়েছিল যে বিজনেস সিক্রেটটা বলবে না. হ্যাঁ, আর মার্লো যেহেতু অ্যাডভেঞ্চার পছন্দ করে, উনি মার্লো ধারণা করেছিল যে ওখানে যেয়ে দেখবে যে সুন্দর নগর হয়েছে, কোনো মানুষ ক্ষুধার্ত নেই, কোনো মানুষের কোনো অসুখ বিসুখ নেই, সবাই লেখাপড়া করছে, এরকম চিন্তা করেছিল. কিন্তু এখানে সে নাকি দেখলো যে শ্যাডোস অফ দ্য ডেড ম্যানস, দ্য শ্যাডোস অফ অ্যানিমেলস, মানুষ পড়ে আছে, মৃত মানুষ পড়ে আছে, ওকে, মৃত পশু পড়ে আছে, যে অ্যাক্টিভিটি চলছে. সো দ্যাট ওয়াজ দ্য contrary position he observed in Congo. Marlowe notices that man has a bit of white roasted tight around his. শুধু তাই না, এই মানুষগুলো যে ডিজিজ, অসুখে ভুগতেছে এবং তাদের অনেক দিন থেকে খায় না, শুধু তাই না, প্রত্যেক মানুষের গলায় একটা পশমি সুতা বা একটা রশি দিয়ে বাঁধার দাগ রয়েছে এবং বাঁধা আছে. কেন? It means around his neck and puzzles over its meaning, but the reader can see that the wool is a symbolic of the companies coloring the natives. Coloring the natives বা নেটিভকে আইডেন্টিফাই করার জন্য তারা কি করছে, গলায় এক প্রকারের রশি বেঁধে রাখতো। এই রশি দেখে তারা নেটিভকে আলাদা করতে পারতো, and also treating them like animals. Okay, রশি naturally such kind of sting you see in animal's neck. Okay, so the European can identify the native observing that sting, and also they treat them, European people treat these natives just like animals. Disturbed, Marlowe leaves the grove to soothe his shaken mind rather than compose the horror head on, and he retreats. Later he will not have this luxury. Okay, and Marlowe moves to the natives, to the European company's chief accountant, and who suggests immense account of money and the company is making from the campaign of the terror, and whose dress is impeccable. Okay, actually their company's accountants say that means their dress is very white, but under their white desire, under the good desire, they are doing cruel activities in Congo. Okay, and all things that was happening in Congo over there, to the company he embodied an accountant. Profits take precedence over him life, and there he met a person that the accountants, when one has to go to make correct entreaties, one comes to hate those savage, hate them to the death. The company, as embodied in the accountant, profits take precedence over human life, and the bottom line is more important than any higher law of humanity. To the accountanটের কাছে টাকাটাই মুখ্য, মানুষের জীবনটা মুখ্য না। Okay, and yes, profit is more important than human beings' life. Okay, so Marlowe 200-mile hike to the central station reinforced the company's lack of organization and brutality. Okay, and passing through the deserted village, he has observed the deserted place. Okay, and like the company's European headquarters and the outer station, this place reeks of worst inhumanity and death. So like the outer station, he also observed inhumanity and death in the central station. So all over the things we have seen that cruelty and inhumanity done by the European colonial power. And in Marlowe's room, in Cart's room, Marlowe found a painting. In that painting, he observed that like the blindfolded women, Carts once yearned to bring light to the civilization. এখানে একটা ইমেজ, একটা উমেনের পেন্টিং দেখে কার রুমে, কার্টসের রুমে। সেই পেন্টিংটা কি, একটা মেয়ে মানুষ, তার চোখ বাঁধা আছে এবং হাতে হচ্ছে আলো, মানে মোমবাতি, ক্যান্ডেল ধরে আছে। ওকে, এটা দিয়ে মার্লো আসলে কি বোঝাতে চেয়েছিলেন, বা জোসেফ কনরাড কি বোঝাতে চেয়েছিলেন? Like the blindfolded women, Carts once yearned to bring the light of civilization. এই চোখ বাঁধা মেয়ের মতোই এই কার্টসও চেয়েছিলেন এই কঙ্গোতে আলো, সভ্যতার আলো নিয়ে আসবেন, কিন্তু এখানে এসে উনি নিজেই পাওয়ার এবং ওয়েলথের জন্য এখন আর উনি চোখে আর কিছুই দেখতেছেন না। দ্যাট মিনস তার যে ডিজায়ারটা ছিল সেটা আর থাকছে না। Thus, according to the painting, Europe puts on a show of bringing lights. Okay, they have light in their hand, but they are not watching with their eyes. Okay, so they wanted to bring light, but they are not doing that. Okay, so here we see another analogy. One of the contrast personification of the Fabi and the weak-eyed company is the manager. He has no education. The manager has no education, is a common trader, inspires neither fear nor love, creates uneasiness in all who meet him, and lacks any genius for organizing. So manager তার সেরকম শিক্ষা নেই, উনি সব শুধুমাত্র কি করতে পারে, সেখানে ট্রেডার এবং ফেয়ার গ্রো করতে পারে। ওকে, অ্যান্ড মার্লো ইজ এবল টু কনক্লুড ইজ দ্যাট হি ওয়াজ নেভার ইল and is able to keep supply of ivory following the European ports. So we see the tricks of manager. The manager wanted that cards would die and cards wouldn't be the manager. So actually cards had the desire for power and wealth. Same thing happening to the accountant and same thing happening to the manager. And also we have observed fresh leaven, the pilot. So all the white people working in Congo, they were incaptivated with the desire for evil things. They have the desire of money, power and wealth. And after getting so many things, they have forgotten that they have come here for bringing lights to the Congo's people. Okay, so that was the hypocrisy we have seen, hypocritic sin we have seen in this Congo and by the European power. So Heart of Darkness is an oftentimes disturbing book because Conrad suggests that all of the rivets are simply the lies, ideas. So there is another symbol, that is the rivet. Rivet means rivet হচ্ছে এক প্রকারের রিবেট হচ্ছে এক প্রকারের 3 মিনিট আছে। রিবেট হচ্ছে ওকে, তাহলে আমরা কি বুঝলাম, এখানে অনেক সিম্বল আছে, হোয়াইট অ্যান্ড ব্ল্যাক সিম্বল, এবং তাদের ডিজায়ার কি, ইউরোপিয়ানদের ডিজায়ার ছিল দে হ্যাড বিন ডুইং গুড টু দ্য পিপল অফ কঙ্গো, বাট ironically they are not doing good things to the people of Congo, but they showed cruelty and inhumanity towards the people of Congo for the purpose of wealth and power, for the purpose of wealth and power. Okay, okay, any questions?